back to the Actors Wow podcast. How are you doing? I had an audition today and got a callback for it, and I am happy because that's the best thing that can happen to an actor other than actually getting the role. So we'll see where that goes, but for now, I am happy, and that means I'm having a good week. Today I have a very special episode for you, and that is skills that every actor should master that are not immediately related to acting. To me, the biggest surprise and disappointment of my life was graduating from acting school. And, not to toot my own horn, but I was really good in acting school. I was doing really good. I had been acting since the age of 7. Every single year of my life I was in productions. I played a lot of lead roles, and then I went to acting school and I continued to get cast in a lot of lead roles and got nominations for things, and it was awesome. So I thought to myself, oh my god, I am going to graduate and I'm going to kill it. Like I went to a great school that taught me so much technique, and I felt so prepared and so confident in my acting skills. And then I graduated and I found out the biggest lie in history. And I was like, oh no, acting is not actually about how good you are at acting itself, because my tools and my skills that I learned in school really don't matter if I can't get that audition, if I can't get the opportunity for me to be able to use those skills. And for you to get that audition and for you to get the opportunity to be seen and to get a role so you can then show the awesome skills that you have, you need to have other skills that unfortunately most acting schools do not cover. I am such a big advocate to work on technique, to know how to control your craft as an actor. But unfortunately, acting is a business. And if you don't understand the basics of business and networking and all the things that we're going to be talking about, your acting career is going to be really hard until you start learning those things. And talking about things that are related to acting, but maybe not directly, I wanted to share with you something very special that has been helping me a lot. I think as actors, your image is important, and taking care of yourself, of your body, that is your instrument, it's super important. I struggle, a little secret here that I don't usually talk about, I struggle with acne. It is very hard for me, even in my adult years, to get rid of my hormonal acne. And so I'm always looking for new ways to take care of my skin. As somebody who likes to wear makeup, also like making sure that I do my skincare, that I use good products is super important. So today I wanted to share with you a product that has really helped me on my journey to a clear and healthy skin, and that is a Dime Beauty product. It's their Blue Facial Oil Blemish Aid. There's this big misconception that if you have acne, you shouldn't be using oil because it seems counterproductive. It's the opposite. Your body is overproducing oil because it doesn't have the moisture. So using this every night, I glaze myself like a donut. I always say, if you don't go to sleep glazed like a donut, you're not doing skincare right. This is beautiful. It has helped me so much with my acne scars. It is this beautiful blue color. It smells incredible, and I hope it can help you too. I have a discount code if you guys want to try it. The code is Denise, just my name. You can apply it at checkout in their website, Dime Beauty, and you're gonna get a 20% discount. The code is Denise for a 20% discount. They also have incredible perfumes. I love that this brand is clean and cruelty-free, non-toxic. I use their perfume daily. That is my daily perfume. They have several ones, but they have one called 7 Summers that I am obsessed with. So if you also want to try that, you can also use the Denise code. So going back to our episode this week, there are several skills that you need to learn to manage as an actor. And unfortunately, I had to learn them myself. I had to graduate and go through struggles and go through very embarrassing moments and go through times in which I was like, I'm not working and I don't know what's happening and it's not my talent and it's not my skill, so I don't know what to do. And I had to learn all these things by myself. And I went through all that so you don't have to go through it. So today I'm going to be sharing all these things that I learned these past years that I wish I had known when I was starting out. The first skill that any actor should master is marketing. You're going to be like, marketing for what? I want you to start changing your mindset. I want you to think as yourself, as your own company. You are the president of your company and you are the star product of your company. And so as the president, as the marketer, as the person in the company that's showcasing the product that is yourself, you need to know how to do that. If you think of big brands like Coca-Cola, and Zara and all of them, they sell so much, and most of it is their marketing slash branding. It is not the quality of the product. It is not the uniqueness of the product. A lot of them, they're really good at selling themselves, and that's what you are going to do. And you're going to start by finding your own brand. Finding your own brand means you're going to have to ask yourself, who am I? Right? The things that we know, like where you come from, what makes you unique, who are you as a person beyond I'm an actor. Second question you're going to ask yourself is, what are my strengths as a person and also as a performer? And I do not want to hear the answer, everything. I'm good at everything. I am sure you are. I'm sure you're such a beautiful, talented being. But that's not how marketing works. If you are advertising to everyone, you are advertising to nobody. Hear that again. If you're advertising to everyone, you're advertising to nobody. You have to find your niche. You have to find what you're good at, who your audience is, who your goal is, who your target is, and be very specific with it. And the third question you're going to ask yourself is, how do you want others to see you? And I'm not telling you to create this persona that is fake of you. I'm not telling you to be someone that you're not. What I'm saying is that we all have many sides, many layers to ourselves, and it's up to you to decide which one you want to present as the actor that you are. Once you have figured that out for yourself, and that might take time, sit down with it and ask your friends, talk to the people, ask your acting coach, ask your family how they see you and how you see yourself, and this answer will change over time too, right? You're not always going to have the same branding, and it will evolve. The more you get to know yourself, the more you explore your side as a performer and you as a person, the better your branding is going to be. But start somewhere. Sit down, write it down, brainstorm, create something. Once you have that, now it's the time to strategize the self-promotion and how we are going to market this brand that you just created. There are several things that every single actor should be doing right now. We're going to be starting with the most simple one, which is social media. No, you don't have to be an influencer. I started doing social media as an actor, and accidentally my accounts grew, and I'm very happy that they did, and that's working out for me now. But you don't have to. A lot of actors that I meet are like, I hate social media. I hate the word influencer. I don't want to be an influencer. I don't want to dedicate my life to that. I want to make money through social media. And it's like, nobody said you have to do that. Nobody said you have to do that, but you have a platform, you have an opportunity to be seen. And if you're not using it, you're wasting so much potential, so much free advertising space. So you're going to use your social media to post about you, so people get to know you, about your brand that you have decided what it is. When I look at your social media, I should be able to see who you are. I don't want to see just one thing. I don't want to see just self-tapes. I don't want to see just everything that you book, you being perfectly curated and all those things. We want to see you. Think if a casting director goes and sees your social media, what do you want them to see? And that's what you should be posting. Social media is a wonderful opportunity to put yourself out there, to be seen by people that otherwise wouldn't find you. I cannot tell you the amount of times that I've gotten auditions and roles through my Instagram or through my TikTok, or people were considering several people at a time, and then they saw my social media, and because I tend to post a lot there, and there is a lot of my acting, and I have my reels and everything up there, they're like, well, we really liked what we saw, and we loved your social media, so work with us. So it is not the end all be all. I'm not saying social media is gonna make your acting career, but it's definitely something that you shouldn't be not doing, and you shouldn't be wasting that opportunity that is there for you. The next thing you absolutely need is a website. A lot of actors are like, why do I need a website, or do I need that? Yes, you do. Again, I cannot tell you how many times the website has helped me. The audition that I was telling you that I got today, they found me through Backstage, which is a casting website. And through Backstage, they went to my website because I have it linked there. And in my website, they were able to see everything that is not on Backstage. They were able to see everything that I had curated for my own brand, because that's what having a website is, right? You can make it your own. You can decide what they get to see there. You can decide how you want to present yourself there. You can give it everything. You can give it easily to them everything that they need. What are the things that you need in a website as an actor? You need an about me, you need a resume, and you're going to make sure that the resume is downloadable as a PDF, and you need a video reel and some sort of contact information. Other than that, have fun with it. If you want to add other things, if you want to add a gallery section, if you want to add fun stuff that you do, be creative. This is your space to showcase who you are, again, as a brand. And number 3, you can also use online communities. And this one is not so much thought about, and I'm not going to tell you that, again, it's the end all be all, but there are a lot of Facebook groups. I know who uses Facebook anymore, but it's still a thing. It's a lot of Facebook groups for indie filmmakers, for people who are starting out, for auditions in your specific city. There's a lot for LA, New York City, Atlanta. Joining these groups is not going to hurt. There's a lot of people there who sometimes put, casting calls like last minute. We need an actor for tomorrow, stuff like that. I think it's good to put yourself out there, to be there, networking, introducing yourself to people there. Which brings me to my second point, which is networking. Dreadful word, networking. Relationship building, it is so hard. I always say there's 2 kinds of actors. There's the extroverted actors who just love attention and love being the center and just love it. They're superstars. And then there's the introverted actors, where I put myself, which is we got into acting because in real life we're introverted, and when we act we find freedom in it and we're able to express ourselves in ways that in real life we do not. And so for those people I think that networking is a nightmare. And when I got here and I realized that it's about how much you know people and who you know, I was like, oh no, this is horrible. I don't want to do this. I cannot do this. I can't. And I have to tell you, they say this, and I have 100% experienced this. People like to work with people they know. I remember when I got here, I started auditioning and I didn't know anybody, right? So I got an audition and I got a student film role. And then from there, I went on set and I did a good job. I did what I had to do. The directors loved my job. The sound person loved my job. That sound person was also somebody who was studying to be a filmmaker, because they loved my job so much. When they did their own film, then they cast me in their own film, which then was a paid gig. It was an indie film. And then at that job, I met someone else who then got me another role. And so it comes to be like 80% of the jobs I've ended up doing, they came from somebody who knows somebody, or they already knew me or recommended me. And that happens very often. Right now that I am doing my film, I am guilty of that too. I've been getting people for crew, casting people, deciding to work with people that I'm already familiar with. And that's just human nature. It's basic human psychology. We like what we are familiar with, and that's what we're going to go with. So you have to have those contacts. You have to network. Can I get rid of the word network? I hate it. I think what is important here is to build genuine relationships. How are you going to do that? You just moved to New York. You just moved to LA. How do I even meet people? It's terrifying, right? I'm going to give you some ideas. Number 1, events. There's networking events. If you go to Eventbrite, if you go to Facebook again, if you go just Google, industry networking events, filmmaking networking events, actors events, you're going to find things. A lot of these, gotta tell you the truth, you're going to have to go through it and they suck and you're going to get nothing out of it. But it only takes one person that you meet there that makes it worth it. It only takes one person. That should be your goal. Every time you go to one of these events, do not worry about meeting as many people as possible or getting all these contacts. Talk to 1 or 2 people. Make sure that they are aligned with what you want to do and who you are, and that's all it takes. Number 2, premieres. This one's a little bit harder because you're like, how am I going to get invited to premieres if I don't know people? You have a point there. But there is a lot of festivals, there is a lot of premieres that are open of short films or indie films that don't have a lot of people. I've been invited through premieres through my social media, like you post some stuff, and that's when I didn't even have such a big following, but there is a lot of filmmakers out there that want people to be there at their premiere, and they're not that big. And so going to these events, whenever you get an opportunity, try to say yes, even if you're dreading it. Again, it only takes one person, so try to put yourself out there. Number 3, acting classes. I know we talked about it in another episode, but one of the main reasons why you should continue acting classes is the networking and meeting people like you. And you never know who you're gonna meet. You don't know how much this person is working. You don't know if they're gonna end up making their own films, and you always want to put your best foot forward and create that genuine relationship. And I'm gonna bring it back to social media. DMs. I know this sounds weird, but I encourage you to go on social media, to go on Instagram, and try to find people that are your level, starting out, that are maybe have done a little bit more projects than you have, following them, and genuinely looking at their stuff, watching their projects. DM them. You watched their movie, you liked it, say it. Try to build that relationship. It's gonna feel so awkward at the beginning. The other day, I was in a networking event, and this is embarrassing because I am here giving you this advice, but again, I'm an introvert and I hate it. And I went to this networking event with a friend, and I met someone, I was talking to them, and they were like, oh, you should meet this other person, because I was telling them I started in theater and that I love theater. And they were like, he does a lot of theater and he's actually casting right now for some plays. And I was like, oh my gosh, that is so cool. And so the other person that he was talking about was at the other end of the room, and they were talking to someone else. And that's a hard thing about these networking events. People are talking to people. And it's like, how do I put myself in there, right? And I was with a friend there, and he was like, well, just go talk to him. And I was like, no, he's talking to someone. It's going to be rude if I just put myself in the conversation. So I waited. And I waited 10 minutes, and I waited 15, and then 30. And when he was done talking to that person, another one had already come. And soon I realized, I was like, you just have to do it. Like, there's really no perfect moment. There's really no perfect way. So just went there, and I was like, hey, hi, I just met this person. They told me I should come talk to you. My name is Denise, blah, 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 blah. And all the things. You have to just go through the uncomfortable moments of it. There's no way around it. The same way that sending a DM is going to feel weird and awkward, there is no way around it. Just do it. And the key part in this is, once you've built this genuine connection, is maintaining it. And I think that's where a lot of people go wrong. A lot of people are really good at networking, and they meet people, and it's like, great, I just met this awesome person. And then it fizzles out. Especially in big cities, especially in LA, where everybody has so much going on and everybody just is so flaky. You have to maintain the relationship, and you cannot expect the other person to do that. You're going to have to take the matters into your own hands and really try your best. Following up, keeping up with them. Social media makes our life so much easier. If they're doing stuff, comment on their thing, congratulate them, right? If it's their birthday, say happy birthday. Once in a while, maybe, hey, do you want to grab a coffee? If you're doing something new, like keeping people updated, if they follow you on social media, awesome, because they're already seeing your updates because you are using social media, right? But if not, if you just have their email and we're talking, about a casting director that you met or a producer, and you just did something cool, I want to share it with them. Do not just make it about the business relationship. Again, this should be a personal, or at least genuine connection, genuine relationship, but put the effort to keep that connection and that relationship going. If you are like me, that you forget, I have such a hard time. It's not that I don't want to keep the relationship going. It's like I have so many things going on. When I'm not doing my project, I'm doing my podcast, I'm doing my social media, I'm teaching my classes. There's so much going on, and I always forget. And by the time I remember this person that I met yesterday, it's actually 2 years later. In my mind, it's yesterday or last week, but it's actually 2 years later. I'm like, oh my God, like I never followed up. I never talked to them again. That sucks. So this is my tip, and this might seem like too much for you. If you don't need it, awesome. I have a list. You make a list of all the people you've met, and when's the last time that you talked to them, and where you met them, and a few things that you learned about them on the day that you met them. Like, for example, I went to the party, I met this person, I learned that he is married to this person and he has 2 daughters, right? And that they travel often to this place. Just things that happen in conversation. Just gonna try to remember that, because maybe next time I'll be like, how are your daughters, right? Like stuff like that will make the connection not awkward. I have a list. I make sure to look at it. I make sure to have that as part of my priorities and things that I want to do, which we're going to talk about in a moment. But if you're interested in getting better at networking and relationship building and talking to people, I recommend 2 books. One is Pitch Perfect by Bill McGowan. He is an expert in public speaking, and you don't have to do public speaking to be good at communication and be able to get your point across. This book is awesome. And the other one is one of my favorite books ever that I recommend to every single creator, entrepreneur, artist out there, and that is The Third Door by Alex Banayan. That book is a masterclass on networking and getting it done. The third skill that you have to master as an actor is finances. Oh my gosh, what another terrifying word. Financial literacy and budgeting. Listen, I am the first one that has a terrible relationship with money and finances and economy, and I find it so extremely boring. I remember when I was, telling my parents that I wanted to go to school for acting, and my dad was like, you should maybe do something that is a little bit more useful, like economics. That was like the worst thing that someone could have said to me. I was like, this is so boring. And there's so many artists that feel that way, because as creators, it's like the complete opposite. Like finances is so like rigid and strict, and it sounds like so like business, while we are this like free-spirited creative beings. But let me tell you something, you have to get good at this, and I am still learning. I am still working on it to this day, and I've been working on it for this past 4 years so much. But here are the tips, here are the things that have really helped me. As an actor, your money is going to be inconsistent. That is one of the downsides of being a freelance entrepreneur, business person like we discovered that you are. It's that you're not going to have a salary every month that's going to be the same. Some days you're going to be getting a lot of roles, lots of jobs, amazing. You're going to get paid good money, and it's going to be great, hopefully. Other times, it's not going to be like that. And so if you don't learn to manage that money, if you don't learn to budget, to save your money, to invest your money, it's going to be really hard for you, and you're going to struggle. And I think most of the actors that give up on acting, that ends up being the reason why they do, because they're struggling financially. And let me tell you, it's not pretty. It's not easy when you don't have money to pay rent, when you don't have money to eat and all those things. You want to be able to be free so you can sustain yourself, so you can feel safe in yourself, so you can create your art. If you are in survival mode, you cannot give the best of yourself to your art and to your craft. I think actors are such intelligent, creative creatures that I think there is so many jobs that you can do, and I want to make a whole episode about that, about all the jobs that as an actor you could do that are maybe not directly acting but still creative and fun and that you could enjoy. But something that I recommend every actor, especially if you start making some money, is create your own business. It can be anything. It can be, if you're good at drawing, you can do like freelance drawing work. It can be anything related to art. If you're good at anything else, whatever it is, having your own business will give you that freedom to audition, that freedom to feel safe, that there is an income that is coming, that is in your control, so you can do your best work as an actor. I know that it's easier said than done, but just start thinking about it as you are entering this acting world. If you want to get better at money, I have 2 books for you that have really blown my mind. And I know that they're really basic if you are into finances, but if you've never been interested in finances or economy, I think these are really at least gonna get you started in this kind of business world and financial literacy. The first one is Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. This is a book about this man who had a rich dad and a poor dad. And through all this storytelling, he tells you what the habits of the rich dad were and the habits of the poor dad were. And in that way, you kind of discover how people become wealthy and how people don't. The next book is more based on mindset more than actionable steps, but I do think that money and finances, a big part of it is mindset, and that is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. And the fourth and final skill that you should master as an actor is time management and organization. This has been also a big struggle for me. As someone who is all over the place, who likes to listen to their body, who likes to, we'll see what happens. It's been so hard because Well, if you have a 9 to 5 job, you might have somewhat of a schedule, but if you have your own business or you're doing acting full time, you are going to create your own schedule, and it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to be consistent, and you're going to have to do it on your own. Time management is also going to be really important, because as an actor, you want to be reliable. Being on time is extremely, extremely important. And if you're not on time, it's affecting everybody, and people are losing money, and they're not going to think you're reliable. And that's the last thing that you want people to do. They want to feel safe around you, not just in your acting abilities, but also in, I can count on this person. I know that if I tell them to do this, they're going to be here on time, prepared, and do their best job. So these are the things that you're going to start focusing on. You're going to have to get really good at prioritizing and goal setting. Whatever that means to you, prioritizing for me means I make a list of the things that are the most important. Long-term, mid-term, and short-term. Maybe today the most important thing that I have to do is go grocery shopping, right? Because I have no food in the house. But that is not my long-term most important. If you don't know your priorities, you're going to be very scattered. You're going to end up, whatever comes first, right? A fly comes by and you're going to follow the fly. If you know your priorities, you can know where you have to put your energy, at what time you have to put the energy, and how much energy you have to put into it. Goal setting is going to be very important for that too. Being very specific with what you want and giving yourself timelines and evaluating how you're doing in that goal setting. I think a lot of times as creatives, because again, we are not very focused, some of us, we say, well, I want to do this, I want to be in a movie. That is not goal setting. Of course you want to be in a movie. That is so, one, broad, and two, there is no timeline to that. And it seems like so far away, depending on where you are in your acting career. So maybe a goal for you, if you're just starting out, could be, I want to get a lead role in a short film in the next 6 months. That is a good goal. And listen, if in 6 months you haven't done that, that's okay. But in 6 months, you're going to look at it and be like, oh, wow, it's been 6 months, because time goes by fast. Well, that was my goal. What did I do that helped me get to that goal? And what did I do that didn't help me get to that goal, and that's why I didn't get there? And how can I, in this next 6 months or this next year or the next 3 months, be better so I can reach this goal, right? Like, be honest with yourself and kind of give yourself that feedback of, this is where I need to get better. Because if you don't take these actionable steps, if you don't get specific with that, it all becomes dreams. It all becomes air. So you want to make sure that you have goals. I have the biggest recommendation that I have found this year, and it's an app called Notion. They have the app and they have the website, and it has helped me so much. And this is how I personally use it. You have to find what works for you. Some people love journals or like physical planners. I have found that having it on my phone has helped me a lot. But I have goals that are for the year. I have goals that are for the next 3 years, and I have goals that are for the month. I have goals that are for the week, and then I have my daily must-dos. This sounds like a lot, I know, but that's how you get it done. That's how you make your dreams come true. So every day, I will write down my list of to-do that day in order of priority, because that's really important, because I might not get to all of it, but I will make sure that the things that are a priority, I get to those. Every week, I have things that I want to do that week, and I love that list because that gives me a little bit more of freedom, and it doesn't feel as stuck for me, that it's like, I have to do this, so if I have a little bit of time today, I'll do this. If we're by Friday and I haven't done this thing that I needed to do this week, we need to get to that now. And then every month, right? Every month, like, what have I done this month that is helping my acting career? What are the things that I could do better? What are the things that I want to accomplish this month? And that's also how you're going to start feeling successful. Success is very relative. And a lot of people, I struggle with that. And I struggle with that. And a lot of actors do. And even actors that are constantly working and booking big roles, they still don't feel successful. And I think it's because a lot of times we don't evaluate ourselves. We don't make sure to set those goals and realize everything that we've accomplished, and we kind of just let it happen. And then we don't realize, everything that we've done and the hard work that we've put, and where we were a year ago and where we are now. And keeping that gratefulness, keeping that score, keeping that log of everything you've been doing and where you are going is going to help you so much on the long run and short term. If you want to learn more about time management, I recommend a book called Atomic Habits by James Clear. I hope this was helpful. I hope it wasn't too overwhelming. I hope you're not like, oh no, I went to acting school. I've been working so much on my acting skills and now you're telling me that I also have to learn all this. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. Take your time. I am still working on all of these. It's taking me years to get to a place to be like, kind of feel confident on these skills. And you're going to get there. You're going to get there. Just trust yourself. Just work on this little by little. Just keep the awareness that these are things that you should be working on and getting comfortable with. And you're going to be totally fine. Now, before we go, I want to bring the movie of the week. And this week we're going to be talking about Babylon by Damien Chazelle. Another movie that has been so hated. These movies of the week are becoming like hated movies of the week. I don't understand, obscure movies of the week. Damien Chazelle, if you guys don't know him, he did Whiplash, incredible movie if you haven't seen it. He did La La Land, also a favorite. He did First Man, which didn't go that well. And then he did Babylon. And I thought it was incredible. I went to the movies to see it. Margot Robbie is in it. Brad Pitt is in it. And then the big star revelation of it, which really was the person that like, I left the movies and I was like, whoa, that's amazing. He's gonna go so far from here. His name is Diego Calva. He is a Mexican actor, and his energy on screen, I don't even know how to describe it. You have to see the movie. It was so good. Not only that, I thought the movie was awesome. I can see how some people didn't get it. I know I said this with the other movie the other day, but this is one of those movies that if you don't like it, it's probably because you don't get it. But I think if you're an actor, I think if you are a filmmaker and love movies and love Hollywood and, you know, just the whole process of it, I think you're gonna like it. And I encourage you to watch it until the end, because there is a lot going on, and I can see how this movie can get people a little uncomfortable. A big part of it feels like a critique of Hollywood at some points, a little bit of a exaggeration of it, but it can be a little bit triggering. If you are working in the industry and you see this movie, I can see how it can be like, you know, I live this in my real life. I don't need to see this in a movie. But the acting is amazing, and the directing is amazing, and the set design is awesome, and the cinematography. And at the end of it, it's like a love letter to filmmaking and to Hollywood and to actors. And it really got me really emotional at the end. It's one of those movies that I definitely would watch again. So Babylon by Damien Chazelle. Thank you so much for being here another week. Christmas is coming and I'm so excited. It's my favorite time of the year. But if you don't know what to get your actor friends or yourself, because you should be treating yourself, I have an Amazon storefront that is linked on my social media, on Instagram and on TikTok. I have lists there of books that actors should read, on makeup that I use for on camera, for auditions, on acting books that are not about acting, or mindset books. I have self-tape material. I have all sort of stuff that is going to be great gifts for the artists in your life. Thank you again for being here. I hope you have an incredible rest of your week, and I will see you next Wednesday.